Today's morning medicine is Cajuputum. I should have got out the Melaleuca book on the Melaleuca plant because that's what this is. This oil, it's Cajuput oil, which is from the Melaleuca plant, which has a lot of different uses. Anyways, before I start, got bit by my wife's got bit by one, two, three, four ticks, and every day I come home with that dog. My Pomeranian Smoky Bear is like a tick magnet, so I throw him on my bed, which I got a white Steelers thing up there, and in that white I can see them. So I brush them and I pick them off, throw them down the toilet, and I get about 15 to 20 of them every day off of them. And I'm sure I know I'm not getting all of them, and I'm sure they're sticking in my clothes. So I'm going to try a couple different herbs. One thing they said is vinegar. I've got cedar wood I'm going to put on them. Try to do something to limit this because my wife got bit by a few, and yesterday I'm at my folks and my ass was itchy. And I'm thinking, what the? And I realized, oh, right in the spots they were itchy. I come home and I had two bumps there. Where when them little tiny ticks bite you, you get these bumps on your on your body, and they're very itchy. They're so itchy. So what did I do? Is my usual protocol. And I noticed when that happens because the one doctor said I went down to that doc in a box, Med Express. I went down there and they asking me questions, and I said, yeah, I got just pulled a tick out the other day. Oh, she checked, and you got latent Lyme's disease, whatever that means. I never knew I had Lyme's disease, but what happens is your joints start aching, and my joints were aching yesterday. So the usual protocol that I do is I take Ledum. Ledum is for any bites, puncture wounds, things like that. So you take, that's basically a bite. So I took Ledum, and basically the itching went away and I felt better as far as the joints. Then my next thing is to take Hypericum, and that's for the poison in you. And at the end of that, I bought two of these. One's beryllium, homeopathic beryllium, which is the virus that the bug puts in you, and Bartonella, I think it's called. Those two I will take. I haven't taken the Hypericum yet. I took the Ledum, went to bed. I take the Hypericum, gave my wife Ledum because she got bit too, and then we'll take Hypericum today, and maybe later today or tomorrow I will take the I'll give both of us the Borrelia, I think it is, and Bartonella, which is the two viruses, to kind of get rid of whatever that bug put in me and the activation of that Lyme's disease. So that is the basic protocol that I usually do. And I was talking to some homeopaths from London, and I forget, she was talking about tick's disease, and I said, "Here's what I do." She said, "Oh yeah, that's good." And then I asked her, I said, "Should I take that beryllium in case, because I do have Lyme's disease?" She said, "Yeah, that'll help that out." So that is the protocol for that. But Cajuputum uh, is, what's it say? Distilled in water from leaves of Melaleuca. Leucodernum is the plant or tree or whatever it is. I should look that up, but I didn't. So the historic tincture and all in five potency, first to third potency in 5 drops. So they're talking low potencies here with this Cajuputum, and also you can use the tincture for this. I guess it's not poisonous. Some of them are poisonous, so you don't use the tincture with them. Like, what am I trying to think of here? What's really poisonous? Belladonna. You can use belladonna. Some of the snake poisons. Yeah, belladonna you don't want to use in tincture. Yeah, any of these kind of poisonous plants you don't want to use in tincture because you will have problems. And I'm sure they did use them at a time, but they realize it's not very helpful. More detrimental than helpful. And that's how we get some of our, I'm going to talk about approving. That's how we get some of our proving. Someone would poison himself with arsenic or poison himself with belladonna, deadly nightshade, a plant. And then, whatever symptoms they got from being poisoned, they wrote them down. And we know, homeopathic medicine works like cures like. So whatever a substance will do in a healthy person, these symptoms, it'll cure in a person that's sick and has these symptoms. It'll cure that same sickness, whatever it is. We don't care if it's a flu, or pneumonia, a COVID, I don't know, a grief, whatever's going on. If they have symptoms like not Cajuputum so much, but symptoms like arnica and for flus, symptoms like arnica, arsenicum, baptisia, all these different medicines, they all have eupatorium perv, you have bone pains, so it doesn't matter what the disease sickness is. We're going off what the vital force is expressing. And what is the vital force? That's your immune system expressing symptoms. What it does is, like I always say, if you have skin stuff, and you put something on it and push it back in, you'll a lot of times end up with lung situations, asthma and that, and or joint symptoms, or it goes into the organs. Now, you give a medicine, a lot of times what'll happen is the skin stuff will come back out. The body will throw that stuff back out. The joints will feel better, but you'll have this skin stuff. Now, if you don't put nothing on it, you can put oatmeal on it, or something to some kind of a pack to soothe it, aloe vera, things like that. But if you let it go and you keep taking that medicine, it'll push that out. The joints will clear up, the asthma, whatever you got will clear up, the skin will clear up, and now you won't have that asthma or rheumatism anymore. So that's the way it works. So Cajupute oil acts like, this is folklore, oil of cloves. So cloves, they use that for tooth pains, things like that. But it also has, we probably have a medicine out of it, but that also has properties that work like this Cajupute oil. It has a reputation as a local application in rheumatism. So they will put it on, you got a joint pain from rheumatism, they'll make uh, um, a patch, a plaster out of it, and put it on, and that'll help it. And then also in cases of dysmenorrhea. So I guess they put that on the woman's stomach area when they have this dysmenorrhea, which is painful menses, basically. I always get them all mixed up. Amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea, menorrhagia. So, but dysmenorrhea, I'm pretty sure, is painful menses. Cajupute has cured obstinate hiccups from the slightest provocation, talking, laughing, eating, or any motion. Anything happens and they get hiccups, this will get rid of it. Cajuputa. Symptoms appear and then disappear suddenly. They come on at 5 a.m. in the morning. So all of a sudden they'll have this, whatever, dysmenorrhea or hiccups or whatever they'll have. Something will come on early in the morning, headaches, whatever it is. It'll come on at 5 a.m. and it'll disappear just as quick. Disappear suddenly on eating. So they'll get up and they'll eat something, and that headache or that problem will go away. Many symptoms are worse at night. Smoking causes desire to vomit. So that wouldn't be bad to give to my wife to quit smoking. Anyways, let's get into it. There's so much to this. Cajuputum, sensation of enlargement. That's a 3. And when I say a 3 is a major symptom. There's a 2 that's a symptom, but it's not so major. And a 1 is the symptom's there, but we're not, and these a lot of these are 1s and 2s down here. But when it's a 3, you're really looking at it. So enlargement meaning, they just feel like the body's swollen and enlarged, the head's enlarged, different areas are enlarged. Flatulence, that's a 3, so there's a lot of gas. So they're obviously having stomach digestive problems. That's a 3. Nervous dyspnea, which is dyspnea is they can't catch their breath. So there's a nervous, from their nervousness, they have this dyspnea. Worse or better in open air. So they want to get out in open air, and that's like a pulsatilla symptom. Pulsatilla wants to get out in open air. Pressure, lying down. So it's worse, better from pressure, better from lying down, worse 5 a.m. and bending forward. So when they double over, everything gets worse. Lying down, it's better. Pressure, it's better. Open air, it's better. And at 5 a.m., they usually have worse riding in a car. That day they were horses and buggies. Scratching, worse from scratching. Let's see. Okay, sad. They're very sad. Ideas come on slowly. They can't bear to work or study, so they have a real problem with any kind of work or study or anything like that. And they could cry. So they're just so sad and everything, they could cry. Feel stupefied. and intoxicated all day long. So they just feel dopey and, you know, intoxicated and just stupefied. And that's why they can't work or study or anything. Things aren't working well. Abdomen has flatulent colic. So any kind of colic where they have this gas, this farting in that. Um, tympan, tympan, tympanides. I think that's how you say that. Tympanides is, which is the distension of the abdomen, and terebinth, which is another medicine, has that big time. It's, you know, the distension of the stomach is real big with terebinth. So if you're given terebinth and it's not working with the distension, you'd think of cajuputum and the other way. If you're given cajuputum for the tympanides and some other things that match, you may want to consider terebinth. Spasmodic cholera. So anybody having cholera, there's spasms in the stomach from it. No back symptoms today. Sharp, steady pain in the chest. Soreness of the chest. Soreness means it doesn't want to be, you know, touching it hurts. Pain in right lung. And they have a cramp. Oh, this is for the abdomen. Sorry. Gripping pain in bowels on riding. So that's why the riding is worse. It gives them this gripping pain. Um, but anyways, back to the lung. Right lung has pain, soreness. Don't want the chest doesn't want to be touched. That's what soreness is, and a sharp, steady pain in the chest. Ears, lobules, the things that hang down off your ears there are red, and upper portion remains natural. So the color remains natural over the rest of the ear, but their lobes are red. Now that's why I always say you look at a person, you look at their eyes, you look at their ears, you look at, you know, their shape of their body. Are they heavy? Are they thin? Then you see their, you know, they stick out their tongue. You look at that. Is it furred, colored? Is their eyes sunken? Is their face red? Is this one, their earlobes are red? So that usually, once you see the person come, you know, once you see the person and you observe the person, that's what we do a lot with homeopathic medicine, is observe the person, all the different things going on with them, their emotional state, their everything. You just observe how they react with you, the look of them, the different areas like the lobes being red, and the rest of the air. It starts you into thinking of different medicines. So nose or eyes, yeah. No, face feels like burning. So the face feels like it's burning. The left pain in the left molar bone. Face can look yellow. Now this can be from liver or kidney stuff and that. It's puffed up. You know, feels like it's puffed up. So everything in this medicine feels like it's enlarged. Stiff, dry feeling in the jaws with neuralgia. So neuralgia is just nerve pain. So they got this stiff, dry feeling, and they have this neuralgic pain in the jaw with a severe headache. So the face pain with the is associated with the headache. On waking, especially on waking at 5 a.m., this is what they'll have, that headache, that jaw pain, all that kind of stuff. It could be the feels burning, all this stuff could be going on. Prosopalgia, which is just face pain with a severe headache. So there's a relation there with the face pain and the headache, you know, and sometimes, you know, you have to, I got a headache. Okay, what's going on? Face pain related to it, or it could be the gastric. It could be a gastric headache, gastric things giving them that headache. Female, no appetite. Okay, it doesn't have anything for female, which it should with the dysmenorrhea and stuff. But anyways, no appetite or thirst. Or has a good appetite, can eat anything. So they can eat anything, has a good appetite if they get a flu, a cold, a COVID, or whatever. Whatever's going on, they lose their appetite and have no thirst. I think pulsatilla is a no thirst too. So there's a relationship, it seems here. But don't feel natural when eating. So they've got this great appetite, but they feel their eating feels mechanical. So a lot of things going on with them with the, they feel delirious in the day. That when they eat, don't feel right. Their parts feel enlarged. And you'll see another one that's very interesting situation. Feels much enlarged in the head. So there's that enlargement again, as if he cannot get himself together. Now, this is the one I was talking about, baptisia. Let me read a real quick thing on baptisia. Got to make sure my time's good. I could talk about this stuff all day, it seems. Okay, so Baptisia says thinks he is broken or doubled and tosses about the bed trying to get pieces together. So this person feels like, and that's what the that's where that relationship is. Where is that dang thing? Oh, head feels enlarged, and it feels if he can't get himself together. And Baptisia has that big time. They'll be laying there with a. And Baptisia is a good flu, pneumonia remedy, and all that. They feel like their arms are separated from them. Their legs are, they're basically hallucinating. Their legs are separated and they're trying to get their body parts back together on themselves. That's Baptisia. This isn't as uh, much. And with that, the mental symptoms can be the same. That's why they can't work. They feel stupefied. They just can't get themselves together. So heart nothing, kidney urine smells like cat's urine. And I smell a lot of that because I got six of them in this house and it's not a big house. Diminished in quantity. He's has a milky appearance. So they're urinating. It smells like cat's urine. It smells bad, basically. And the quantity is diminished and it has a milky appearance. So there's definitely kidney things going on with this person. Urine is light colored and smells badly. So, and if they're not drinking, especially, they'll have less. But this is most likely some kidney stuff going on. Joints feel enlarged with pain. So there's that enlargement, and they got pain, like a rheumatic pain in all their joints. Arms feel tired and heavy, and knees ache with pain. So anybody having this rheumatism with pain in all their joints and knee pain, you would consider Cajuputum. No liver, severe coughing in the lungs with strangulation. So that's, they can't, they're coughing and they can't catch their breath. That's kind of like that strangulation. Coughing almost makes one vomit. So there's another part of it. They're coughing so much that and sometimes they do. I know my wife, a lot of times, if she has a cold, that's what affects her the most. She will cough and then vomit, you know. And that could be the problem why they don't no appetite or thirst because this cough is causing them to throw up. That could be what is affecting it a lot of times. Erection this is the male. Erection all night and long time after rising without desire. Probably good for the woman, but the guy, he could give a crap, but he's always walking around with a boner, sorry. Sex drive completely gone in the male, but he's always got this erection going on. And as you'll see, his dreams, he's got lascivious dreams and all that. Like I said, the woman may be good for her, but she could always use that erection. Mouth, spasmodic stricture of esophagus. So stricture means it's closing. So and they have a hard time swallowing food and everything. So persistent sensation of choking, constriction, swallowing solid food. So they have a hard time swallowing solid food. And this stricture of esophagus is a 3. And this is where that choking's coming in at. Nose, no nose. Diarrhea, watery, yellowish by day. And that's usually my wife's got a cold right now and she's in there having diarrhea. I said, "What color is it, honey?" She said green. So green is like gelsemium. There's a few of them that have green. I think belladonna. So a few of them have green. So then you have to use some other symptoms to figure out what medicine would be needed for that. Uh, where am I at? Oh, yellowish by day. Okay, worse by night. So everything basically is worse by night, especially the diarrhea. Bowels moved often. Um, there is a nose. Sorry. Bowels move often. And this must be the mouth too. Yeah, this is more mouth stuff. Okay. I mix myself up. I try to get too much in there. So the nose is most prominent, kind of like mine, huh? No. Prominent meaning it feels prominent. It feels like it's swollen, probably. That's probably what they're talking about. So that diarrhea and the bowels move often. Now, I got to go back to the mouth. They're hawking up tough white mucus from sinuses, and you'll see when I read provings on this medicine. Intense thirst, speech thick and slow, and this is probably from the tongue. The tongue is swollen on this medicine. An eruption on the skin. I did everything right. Nose is prominent. Hawks tough mucus. Esophagus stricture. Choking, can't swallow solid food. The diarrhea is yellowish. worse by night and moves often. An eruption in the skin is as thick as measles all over the arms and body. So this isn't so much measles, but it's like a measles-like rash basically. Intense itching, aggravated by scratching. So the more they scratch, the more aggravated it gets. Rustox, you think of a bunch of different medicines for this rash and this thing. Rustox is poison ivy. Anyways, tongue looks white, rough, so it's got white fur on it basically. Feels scalded or burnt, as if skin was peeled, as if the skin was peeling off. And the tongue feels swollen. That's a 3, so that's where that talking, thick slow speech comes in. Tired and sleepy with amorous dreams without emission, so they're not having a wet dream, but they're having sex dreams. Swears and rowdy in dreams, so someone that does all that in the middle of the night, you would consider this medicine Cajuputum. Hiccup, that's a 3 on slightest provocation, whether talking, whether whatever's going on, movement, and they get a hiccup, you think of Cajuputum. Temperature feels cold with cold sweat all over the body, very profuse, and this can be in colds, flus, pneumonias, COVIDs, whatever's going on. Very profuse and weakening sweat, so that all this sweating weakens them. And then when my mentor Robin Murphy, he talks about fluid loss is a big thing, whether it's mucus, whether it's diarrhea, whether it's sweat, whatever it is. This can be a real detriment to the vital force that needs to be considered when considering medicines. Burning in the throat to stomach. So the burning goes from the throat to the stomach and in the lower part of pharynx, esophagus, as if lye were in it. And lye will definitely burn your throat. So this burning in the esophagus, pharynx, and from the throat down to the stomach feels like it's a lye burning in their stomach. They're hoarse if taken cold. So if they get a cold, they're hoarse. All right, let's there's a little bit of reading, but this reading, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get comfy. Welcome to my wardrobe, my books and my shelves, all my stuff. Anyways, Cajuputum. The provers of Cajuputum, when I say a prover is a person that takes the medicine, as you'll see, to they're a healthy person, they start taking it and they start getting a lot of these symptoms. Why someone would want to do that is beyond me, but for medicine, for future, for people's sake, they did this and they took these medicines, and that's how Hahnemann came up with it. They were curing malaria with Chicona bark. I couldn't think of it. And so they're like, why is it working? Is it the astringent properties? Is it this, that? They're considering everything. So he just took the tincture and he started taking it until he got malaria symptoms. And he realized, in a healthy person, that substance will cause these same sickness, malaria symptoms. So that's why it's curing malaria. And then they started doing, taking everything, anything they could get their hands on, making a homeopathic medicine on, which is I got a little course in my community that you can go take that talks about how they make the medicines. Anyways, so then they started making homeopathic medicines out of everything, and they started proving them. So the provers of Cajuputum experienced the following: feeling as if it did not want anyone to speak to me after 24 hours. So they took the medicine after 24 hours. They didn't want any company. They didn't want people around them. Pulsatilla I was talking about, they want company. Do not want to be spoken to. Feel better in the society of ladies. So I think this is a woman. I don't know. Do not like to talk with men, but can laugh and make free with the woman. I would almost think this is a woman feeling comfortable around other women. And it says I am naturally bashful. But after 2 hours, they want to talk to a woman. They want to have that interaction. Feeling sad and downhearted, as if I could cry after 2 hours after taking it. So now, not only after after 2 hours. So both of these symptoms are after 2 hours. They're usually bashful. They become extroverted, and they want to talk to just women, not men. Probably the guys running around with a, never mind. Oh Lord, running around with that erection. Get away from me with that. Lord. Okay, so that's after 2 hours. They're sad and downhearted. You know, I do not want anyone to speak to me, so that's after 2 hours too. Nevertheless, I like to be where I can see persons and hear their talk. So they want that company, but they don't want to interact. Can't bear to look inside the books. So they're, yeah, that's a, they can't, trying to mentally do anything. It just bugs them. I usually study, can think of 1,000 things a minute. So their mind's racing. 1 hour after first dose on second day. So now this is the second day. They take a dose and now they can't look at books. They can't, really function like that. And that's where that delirious, what is it called? What do they say? Feels drunk and stupefied. Yeah, I feel sad, can't be word stupefied and intoxicated they feel. So they can't open books and really study in that. But they have 1,000 things running through their mind, almost a hyperactive type of thing. 1 hour after the first dose on the second day. They want to walk in slow and very dignified manner and prefer to walk alone. 1 hour after second dose, second day. So these are both 1 hour after the dose. They have 1,000 things running through their mind, can't open a book and study or look at anything, do mental work basically. And they want to walk real dignified alone. Can't think of anything. Ideas come slow now. This is the second day taking the dose. Compared to do so at first, that first day they had racing thoughts. Now it's real slow and stupefied. Can't think of anything. Ideas come slow. Can't bear to do any work or study. 1 hour after second dose, second day. So that's what I was saying. They can't do, they just can't function mentally. Can't think of study. 8 days. So 8 days after, they just can't even think about studying or looking at a book. They felt stupefied and completely intoxicated all afternoon after second dose, the fifth day. So I don't know how many doses they're taking. What, 3 doses maybe a day, maybe more. So the more you take it, the more the symptoms will come out. And what they're doing is they're writing these symptoms down as they get them. And that way when they turn on, they're, I don't know how many people are doing this proving. But however many it is, they write all their symptoms down. Now they bring them symptoms out. And that's where you get these three: sensation of enlargement. A lot of the people that were doing the proving came up with this enlargement of their, areas. So that would be a 3. Some of them, they wanted open air. That could be a 2. Some wanted open air, some it didn't matter, so that kind of thing. So they took, if you take hundreds of people and you do a proving, usually it was 8, 10 people would do it when it first started. These 10 people would do a proving and they would write the symptoms down. If you can get a larger group, you're probably getting the same thing. But anyways, nervous dyspnea, they can't breathe, the nervousness, that's like maybe a 2. Flatulence was a 3 for everybody. They compared all the notes that they took of the symptoms they got, and they were getting 3s and 2s and things like that. So some were like flatulence, they got more people got those symptoms and that. So where was I? Oh, okay, so that was it for that. So now you have like I did with Baptisia, I'm going to do some bovine, which is another homeopathic medicine. Swollen sensation, you would consider bovine and Cajuputum. Plantago, which is another plant, earache and toothache. Colchicum for gout. If you were considering gout with this, Cajuputum and colchicum. But earache and toothache, you would consider Plantago and colchicum. So any gout and rheumatism, colchicum. Aconite and belladonna, effects of checked sweat. So they want to sweat, but they're not sweating from a fever and it's not working. That would be aconite and belladonna. Whereas Cajuputum, they sweat and they feel weak from it. But you would consider that with these other 2 medicines with that. So let's see, Baptisia, Nux muscata, that's, I forget what that one is, Ignatia, Eucalyptus, all these ones would be considered with Cajuputum. Eugenina carofila, all these things. Cloves. Cloves is that one. It's Eugenina carofalaca, which is cloves, would be considered with it. Eugenia jambos and the Brazil nut tree belong to the same order of medicine with Cajuputum. So, and that's Melaleuca leaves from the Melaleuca plant. I think it's a plant or a tree. Might be a tree. I should have looked that up in my herb books. I usually do. I usually will bring out the herb book and show you, but yeah, there was much more important stuff like these provings and how they were proving the medicines and the symptoms they were getting and things. So, all right, that's morning medicine. You can age, but you don't have to get old.